What's a catch-22? Yeah, when you're in between a rock and a hard place, damned if you do it, damned if you don't. Give you a situation. There was this student who was always a pain in the behind to his teacher. And this day, the student was out, he caught a lovely, beautiful red cardinal, and he had it in his hand. And when the teacher came to the classroom, he asked the teacher, "Is the cardinal alive or is it dead?" And had the teacher said, "It's alive," he would have squished it to death. If the teacher had said, "It's dead," he would have let it go and fly. Catch-22. That's the situation that Jesus is in. They come to him trying to trap him, trying to trick him, so it's a setup. And they ask him, "Is it okay to pay taxes to Caesar?" Now, it's very important for us to remember, it's not just about, is it okay, should we pay taxes? Of course we pay taxes, you know that. But should we pay taxes to Caesar Augustus? Caesar is the one who is in charge. Caesar is the Roman authority. Caesar is God in the Roman Empire. So should we pretty much honor or worship or support the oppressor, or should we not? Think about it pretty much as the statement from the American Revolution. What is it? Taxation without representation is tyranny. So, to a tyrant, you don't want to pay taxes. So, Jesus is in this trap. If he says, yes, pay taxes to Caesar, he would pretty much have all his people in his back saying, you support that despot, the tyrant. Don't do it. If he would say, don't pay taxes to Caesar, he would be okay with the Jewish leadership, with his people, but the Romans would breathe down his neck and say, if you don't pay taxes to our emperor, you will be done. So it's this setup. Damn if you do it, damn if you don't. Are you with us or are you against us? And then Jesus asks for a denarius. Now, the denarius is a Roman coin, a silver coin that has the head of the emperor on it. So it's pretty much clear whose money that is, whose coin it is. And the interesting thing is that Jesus does not carry a coin himself. So it seems like, And as soon as they bring and show the coin to Jesus, they have it in their hand already. So there is something about Caesar in their hand already. And then Jesus says, well, that belongs to Caesar. Why don't you give that to Caesar? And this is the big, huge thing that Jesus adds, give God what belongs to God. So taxes, Caesar, we may do that. Let that go. What matters is where and how, where is your heart? Where is your allegiance? Where is that good guidance in your heart? So that's the huge difference that Jesus brings in. And that brings it to a totally new level. Going back to the Psalms, like the earth is the Lord's and all that is in it. So all that we have, all who we are, somehow is God's, belongs to God. That's what Jesus tries to lift up. There is a higher law than the tax code. There is a moral law, and that is instilled in our hearts. And that law or guidance, the Torah of our Jewish sisters and brothers and our first 5 books from our Bible, they are core to good guidance. Now, the interesting thing is about the Torah, the Jewish law or guidance. There are 613 commandments in it. That's a whole lot. So how do you keep all 613? And they say there are 365 negative ones like do not, for everyday one. And there are 248 positive ones. And 248, the understanding of how many limbs and body parts there are in the understanding. So with everything in your body, you do the right thing. So the law, how do you discern in between all these many laws and regulations and commandments? Think of it as the iron filings on a board, and you put a magnet underneath. So the filings, they will gather and will reorient. So what Jesus does in his ministry, he says, what is at the core? So to what are all these laws, all these regulations, all the commandments pointing? And that is the law of love. Love God with your all, heart, mind, soul, strength, muscle, blood, sweat, and tears. And love your neighbor as you love yourself. So that's the Holy Trinity. Love God, love neighbor, love yourself. That's the core, that's at the heart of it. There are 2 more teachings that I want to lift up from Jesus. One is, you remember him saying, don't look at the log or the splinter in your brother's eye or in your sister's eye, but look at the log in yours. And it's again the hypocrites who comment. Hypocrite means like someone who is showing a different face than what they're doing. Hypocrites means like you're like an actor, you're playing out. You don't mean it sincerely, you're not walking the walk. Now, we all know we have a blind spot, don't we? How do you find out the blind spot you have? You put the thumbs out, you close the right eye, and you keep looking with your left finger to your right thumb, and then at some point when you move it out, the left thumb will disappear. You want to try that? Come on, let's have a little fun. So put both thumbs up in front of you, close your right eye, and with your left eye, you look at your right thumb while you slowly move the left thumb to the side. And at some point, you don't see the left thumb anymore. It's kind of disappearing a little bit. Yes, you caught him. So that is, you're way out there, John. I don't see my thumb anymore. Yeah, yes. Now, blind spots in your eye literally are where your nerve cells, the optical nerve comes into your eye. So the other eye makes up for the part that you don't see. That's why we don't notice it constantly, thank God. But there are blind spots that are not physical. They are kind of, we know there is a side in us that we're not aware of. And there is a book by a scholar called Blind Spot. What the bias is, hidden biases of really good people. I give you an example. There is a surgeon driving with his son in a car. So it's dad and his son in the car. They end up in an accident. Dad is badly bruised up. The boy is okay, but the boy has a broken leg. So what do? Dad, the surgeon, takes his son, rushes to the hospital. They get him into the emergency room. They get him right into the operating room. And the surgeon in the hospital, as soon as the eyes fall on the son, he says, I cannot do surgery on him. He's my son. How come? What is? Exactly. So it's hard to get it, but his mother is a surgeon too. So she cannot do surgery on her son. They have to find a different one. So good people, great people who we are, we have our blind spots. Sometimes we don't see. You ever have someone who rubs you the wrong way? Some people who just, you have a hard time standing? I do. Now, the interesting thing is to recognize, and this is where our blind spot is, to recognize it may not be as much as that person, but it's something in us that bugs us. Let's say this guy, I cannot stand him. Is it the guy? Well, there may be something in me, but I still don't like him. Now, that guy has wonderful other friends. They enjoy his presence. It's all wonderful. So, is it the guy? He's a good guy. He rubs me the wrong way. So what is it in me that gets me upset? What is it in me that rubs me the wrong way? And sometimes when we see something is not right or think it's not right in someone else, it's kind of work on that part in yourself. That's the splinter, the log. Where and how do we look in the mirror and recognize what part in me I can look at when something in the outside world bugs me? There are things. So as we listen to Jesus as the teacher, Jesus is still teaching. The question is, are we learning and are we doing, practicing what he teaches us?